I was really enjoying that. I have to say, I still to this day really enjoy our intro.
So do I. I think
And
it's
I almost wish it could be a little longer so that we could get more pictures of the videos of people on there. So that came onto the show. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. It's another day, another week, right? Happy Tuesday, the last week of June.
oh my God,
Mm,
already.
isn't that crazy? We are
Yeah, it is.
a halfway
Today,
mark, through the year.
today, the 28th is, I can't even count. 15 years that my dad passed away today.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
like right in the
today's the
middle of
day.
June
Oh,
28th. But there's no mistakes. But yeah, so it's already the end of June.
yep.
Like that went by in a heartbeat for me.
Yes. Me too. But they all do. Um, so we're gonna. So that's the conversation that we're gonna have today. So good morning, everyone. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from a beautiful and very sunny Southern Connecticut. Today, it's like really really sunny. It's almost too bright. It's so funny. It like hit me in the living room when I walked through the house. The sun coming in. I guess it's because the last couple of days it's been a little overcast or it's been rainy, not even a little overcast. So it's just nice to see it. But good morning. Welcome everybody. Good morning, Milagros, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Your turn.
Yay! Buenos días, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita um, from Spring Hill, Florida, and it's hot. And I don't like Florida, and it's hot. And yesterday,
Please finish that though. I don't like Florida,
and I don't. And
and
I
I
was,
live there.
yeah, for going on 16 years. Pero then you wonder why I'm always up north. Um, but roasting coffee every time I would go outside, it would be like an instant headache. And I didn't realize it at first. I thought maybe, I don't know what I thought. I guess I wasn't thinking. But then finally I was like, it's only when I come outside into this heat.
Yeah, the
So yes,
humidity.
Sunshine State of Florida. That's why, and coming from a girl who loves overcast gray days with lightning and thunder, and if I live in the Sunshine State, tell me that I don't go against the grid and everything in my life. And here we are. Feliz Mar.
What brought you down there anyway?
Um, when my grandson, who's going to be 16, 2 weeks before he was born, so that I can stay with him and my then 3-year old granddaughter, who's going to be 20. Um, so Tiffany can, until the little Henny was old enough to go to daycare, like 7, 8 months, so Tiffany can continue with her schooling. So I came to take care of them while Tiffany finished her schooling.
Oh, it was a temporary thing. It was supposed to be
Mm.
temporary.
Yeah, that's what it was. And here we are. Here we is, girl. Here we is. But you know what they say? If you don't like where you are, only you have the power to be where you need to be. So it's
That's
totally up
true.
to me.
That's the truth.
Um, everything, mi gente. That's why, like today, delighting in the here and now, and we're gonna get into that. But it's before I forget because that's where I'm at.
Who are you, by the
Where
way?
we need. Oh, who am I? Margarita de Margarita,
Mm.
which means I belong to me. Um, what is it? I am the creator of Cricket's Whisper, Me Time, and Naturally Orgasmic Cafe, but I'm a little bit of everything. I am a traveling magician, mi gente. We'll get into that. But this is who I am. Someone who's tired, someone who loves coming onto this show every single day. You know, Lori made a prediction yesterday, and I was like, what is she talking about? It's never that. And it's exactly that. So, Milagros, bienvenida en gracia por siempre estar aquí con nosotros, because Milagros has been like the number one fan continuously for a while now.
Yeah.
But delighting in the here and now, it's going to be good. It's because it's we all can talk about that. And Milagros, make sure you tell us what your stuff, what your delight is in the here and now. And then we're going to start with the intentions led by the badass Buddha.
So the intention today on Viva Cafe con Leche is always to be intentional. And there we are. Miss Intentional herself, Carmen A. Nieves. Thank you. Thank you. The founder and creator of Viva Cafe con Leche, who always teaches all of us to be intentional each and every day with ourselves. So to go into so that is the intention, as always with Viva Cafe con Leche, is to be intentional and
Grateful.
yes, and yes, to go through your day, set your intention for whatever it may be, because it's different for every person. You could have more than one, and you don't have to set it just in the morning. You can set it anytime during your day. If you have already reached your goal, you could go, and add another intention. Could be more than one. It could be one thing.
You know what? Your intentions, like people like limit when people like have one affirmation a day, set your intention for the day, and we shouldn't live within limits. We should be like throughout the day, because how many people like in the same hour are feeling the same thing? Let me back that up. How many people are aware of their their changes in their moods and their palettes and their likes every hour in their day? We don't pay attention to those little important messages. So be aware of who the hell you are. Be aware of what, like you can say, oh, I think I want some chicken tonight. And then when it's closer to dinner, you go and you buy totally different, something different to make because your palate is like it's telling you something. Those are the moments where you listen. When you don't listen, that's when you cook. You don't feel like cooking it. Doesn't smell good. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't nourish you the way it should. Yes, you can change your mind. And yes, you can say, you want some tea? Yeah. No, you know you want that coffee. Say you want that coffee. Be intentional with yourself so that you can be intentional with everything you put out there. Arlene Kelly, good
Yeah,
morning.
Arlene is on, and Iritza, good morning. Arlene, it's so nice to see you, honey. How are
And
you?
Darlene, I know you're watching too.
Hi, Darlene.
Good morning, the Kellys, because the Kellys do it right. My
Yes.
little
Yes, yes,
Irish
yes.
twins.
You know, Liza Tuck is going to be on Thursday. She's going to be our guest for Thursday. We're going to be doing a since it's the halfway mark for the year, we're going to do a vision board check-in. Whether you've made a vision board or not, it's more like a goals check-in or to see what you set for yourself, like for the year so far, how you doing, so we could be accountable to things. And it's funny because Liza would always say when we would have conversations when we worked together, we would talk about setting your intention for the day and starting your day. And because like one of the people that I follow, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he always talks about like literally just starting, visualizing your day in the morning and starting your day and then seeing it from start to finish. And the interesting thing is sometimes people will set intentions or they'll have an idea of how they want their day to go, and it doesn't go that way. Like something, the wrench gets thrown in, and then they throw their hands up and they go, oh my God, it's not happening. And this is not how I wanted it to be. And when Liza and I were talking about this, she said, it's just so simple. All you have to do is just restart. It's just a restart. Who says that you have to wait till the next day to restart? If it's not going the way you want it to, then hit restart and decide which direction you want it to go in from this point going forward. And that's an important consideration when we're talking about delighting in the here and now, because that's doing things like that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. It's because it has to do with being present. So
I
yeah.
like that.
So we set our intention, and let's do our mantra, and then we'll get started on our conversation today. All right, so here we go. Get ready, say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I am beyond authentic.
And I keep it real. Buenos dias, mi gente. Thank you. And
Wonderful.
Iris, I hope you're feeling better. Iris has been sick, so everybody send good
Aw.
juju beans. Carmen Nieves, I'm watching you. I'm so proud of you. You know, with the vision board that we're talking about, um, the badass says something very important. What did you say, badass?
I don't know. What did I say?
You said something about intentions, and before you said about you can start over on the same day. You don't got to wait till the next day. You know, but for those of you, I'm going to speak through my experience, and maybe it'll reflect on you. When you're not focused enough on a vision board, when you are unfamiliar with your self awareness and the dedication that we must apply to ourselves, when we are not feeding our spirits, then we can't train our thought process, right? So I've never done a vision board. One, it's just I don't know why. It just never caught my attention. But two is I'm afraid that if I were to ever do one, I'm going to stick it behind somewhere. And so don't blame yourself if you can't stay focused. Just work on that issue. Because
Correct.
I think I'm going to create one. And the badass and I spoke about this yesterday. For me, only, and I want to challenge myself. So it's going to start off. And like we've spoken the beginning of the year, I'm living this year quarterly. So whatever goals and plans and visions I've had, they're for 3 months out. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months until the end of the year. Because that's how I can keep myself organized, excited, you know, and I have those 3 months to finish something because I am that person that if you give me a project, oh, you got 30 days to finish it, I'm gonna do it on the 29th day. I work better under pressure when it's limited times. So don't be too hard on yourself. If you've created vision boards and then you threw them to the side or whatever, you know what? It's just like she said, you can always hit restart. It doesn't have to be the next day or the next year or nothing. You can hit restart and then challenge yourself to be better than you were the last time you created that vision board. Not better than you were in every project in your life. We're talking specifics. If you focus specifically on this, whatever it is, when Liza speaks to us, whatever object or project you're going to work on, don't criticize everything you haven't done well. And I think that's the biggest thing we do. We gotta delight in the here and now. What did I mess up on yesterday? All right. This is what we're doing. I don't know. I didn't do good at it when I did it last year. Well, you're a whole different person today. Let's try it again. Restart. Self-awareness, self-trust. Salud.
Salute. So
Oh,
let's
but
talk about delighting. Oh, did you want to say one more thing?
yeah, it's Tuesday. It's coffee time.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the coffee.
So it's my little thing. What is coffee? ¿Qué es café? So it's that time and temperature of the year where people just don't understand coffee. When it gets warm, people decide iced coffee, refreshers. Like, how could you drink coffee in this heat? Like, people just can't. they can't comprehend it, that it's the four seasons. It's a love affair of four seasons, right? It's
I
that
drink the hot coffee in the nice air conditioned room. It's totally fine for me.
it's that intimacy that you have that dances across your palate. It's the daily love affair with café con leche, and it's like, how do you go without coffee? Only in the winter. It's like you having that midsummer night's dream. Coffee. Rafa? The only time in Portugal and Spain
Mm.
that we didn't drink coffee was when we were climbing a mountain and we were so sweaty. My face was lobster red and it was just hot. Um, and then you can't drink hot coffee when your body's hot, but that was it. Good morning, Janet. So, yes,
Okay.
delighting
Well,
in the
those
here
are
and now, it's writing down your soul, delighting in the now. Go ahead. Open up the subject, please.
So, delighting in the here and now. So, this is what we wrote for the description today. In these troubling times, how do we delight in the here and now? We've talked about being present before, like we've talked about this. So, it's not like we've never talked about being present. And being present means, being in that space in that moment in time and being okay with it. But today specifically, this is such an important conversation as delighting in the here and now. Like how does one delight in the here and now with all the shit that's happening? And we have been dealing with crap for like what now, 2 years, over 2 years, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So we're going to chat about being present, being grateful, being aware, and being mindful. It's important to be who you are and express yourself in the way you must to be the best representation of yourself. It takes understanding self and understanding and embracing the joy of being present. And I will tell you that the yesterday, Gladiator Guru and I were talking. We usually do our Monday prep for the week, and then on Wednesdays we do our coaching. We coach each other for an hour and a half back and forth, and but our Monday calls sometimes turn into coaching. Like especially if we've done our prep work already, and if it was pretty quick, then we start talking about other stuff. And then sometimes we throw another phone call in, like if we feel like talking, if we want to catch up on stuff. And there's been a lot coming up for both of us. There's been a lot going on. We'll sometimes text each other and have connection that way and have a conversation. So I said to her this morning, the irony is that I'm not feeling very delightful. And so it's a good conversation, because even to talk about delighting in the here, how do you do this, delighting in the here and now? What if I'm, one of the people that's not even delightful? So yesterday we were talking about everything that's been happening, and that recently, the last couple of years, and um, we do it's a struggle. There's this collective energy, I feel, and I know Gladiator Guru feels the same way, that there's this collective energy of just negativity. And really, I don't even want to say like negativity doesn't even describe it. It's a very dark cloud that is there, and it's very scary. So how does one delight in the here and now without pretending like things aren't happening? So it's sort of like made me think of the Matrix. It made me think of the red pill or the blue pill. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Do you want to be blissfully unaware and live your life in a computer program? Or do you want to know the reality of things? And if you do, then how do we delight in the here and now? And then it made me think further into the scene where the one guy is giving them all up, like he's telling the computer program where they are, and he's saying that he wants to go back into the matrix, that he can't stand being in the reality. He just wants to like just forget doesn't want to remember anything. He just wants to go back into the program and live that blissfully unaware life. And so sometimes it's very easy when there's a lot going on, whether it's globally, whether it's just within our country, whether it's within your own little world, when you have a lot going on and you feel very overwhelmed and very nervous and worked up and upset
Mm-hmm.
because of so many unknowns, how do we delight in the here and now? Grand Rising, Bridget Williams. I was just looking at your
Hello,
pictures.
Bridget.
Your
You know,
picture,
I
pretty
think when
pictures.
we look at the here and now, it's kind of scary when you speak to several people and they really just don't want to hear about what the uncertainty of the world. They start on a global thing, the uncertainty of the world. And when you speak about things happening outside of the United States, they shrug it off as that's not our business because it's happening somewhere else. When everything always trickles down, right? And so when you're speaking about the uncertainty of our nation, then they're like, we just don't know what's going on. You don't know who to believe. And sometimes
And that's a
people,
shrug off too.
it is that everything, yeah, all of that is a shrug off. It's people not wanting to face the possibilities, right? So you're really cheating yourself out of delighting with yourself. There's so much more division than there is unity amongst the people. Just with all the recent headliners, it's not a woman's issue; it's a humanity issue, and people like want to change the subject. And when you don't think past your nose, but you're only thinking about your little world, you can't even delight in that because you're always going to find a shift in this. You're going to complain about having to go to work because now the gas prices, because the food prices are going up. So, uh, with delighting in the here and now, I can offer is be aware of your you in your home. Be aware of the truth. And remember, the truth is not always pretty and it's wounding at times. And sometimes you want to pull the band-aid off, but you're afraid to see of the deep scars that have been left behind. The truth is like my favorite quote by Kenneth Ear. When life asks death, why do
I
people
love
love
this one.
me yet hate you? And death reply, because you are a beautiful lie and I am the painful truth. And that is not only for living and dying, that's living as though you're dying because you're not utilizing your God given potential to be aware and to just delight that you are breathing. How do you delight in the here and now? Fill your heart with kindness and gratitude and bask in that glow. And then you can share it with those around you. And sometimes people wake up to that. Although we're not responsible for how other people are delighting in the here and now, we are responsible to share our light with people. And if yours seems to be dimming, then by God, be around people that are cheery that you don't want to be around because either they're too cheery or they're speaking the truth and they're like ready to put their war paint on to sacrifice their time to salvage some of the humanity that's going out of the fucking window in this day and age. So, how do you delight in the here and now? Be true to who you are. Wake up to your surroundings. Wake up to what you're feeling. If you're feeling fear, then dispel it by learning why is that scaring you. Learn it. Break it down like a math equation and find the letters in it. I don't ask me because I never figured out how they did all that. X minus this equals that, whatever. But delight in knowing something and start with learning you. Kindness and gratitude goes a long way because it opens doors for you, which then leads you to the avenues you need to be on. Take it away, badass Buddha.
I think it's I'm at a place where I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I'm not one to really focus on outside stuff too much because it could be overwhelming, and I try to stay within my realm to focus on my business, focus on my children. But the reality is that you also have to be aware. You can't just ignore. And so, how does one not get overwhelmed and stay? How does one stay positive, stay delighted in their here and now when there is so much really crazy, horrible stuff going on out on the outside. So you have to take it in steps, right? It's about a balance. And I can't stand when people talk about how they balance doesn't work and talk about balance, like work-life balance and all these balance things. And I get that. I'm not here to argue that piece of it. But the way the body works when we're talking about balance, I'm talking about like the inner body. The inner body is constantly tweaking. It's constantly doing, like a scale. It's like add a little bit more to one side, add a little bit more to the other side, take away a little bit, take away a little bit. That's how it creates balance within itself. So it's a constant motion to create an overall element of balance, right? So it's like the idea of you standing on one leg if you're doing a yoga position. All the muscles in your leg that you're standing on are doing micro little movements to balance you. And the stronger you get and the more you train your muscles, the less little movements they have to do. They're more steady. But that's how we have to live our lives. So if you want to be aware and pay attention to what's going on, but you do feel like it's overwhelming, you have to allow yourself to just have a little bit of that time within there and then pull back and then stay within your little realm. And even if your life is not exactly where you want it to be and it's not, there's challenges, find the pieces that are good. And I want to be careful with, think about what you're grateful for, because I struggle with this. I got to be honest with you. When people say, oh, well, it'll shift you. I've even said this. It'll shift you. Just think about what you're grateful for. I've been in really low times and low places in my life where thinking what I was grateful for really didn't shift me. It all it did was just kind of frustrate me because I felt bad that I should be shifting because I'm thinking about, what I'm supposed to be grateful for. It's not about thinking about it. It's being in that space. So like whatever you have in your life, if you have your children, grandchildren, if you have your friends, certain family members that you get along with, that you love, you like being in their present company, that you have conversations with, you play games with, whatever, that take those moments, grab those moments. Like yesterday I was in a weird headspace. So I needed busy work because I wasn't delighting in my here and now. I was actually in a pissy mood. And I went from being angry to being sad to being angry to being sad. And it's a culmination of things. So I looked around and I know what works for me with getting past that is busy work. It's like stuff that I really don't have to think through it. It's cleaning, it's doing yard work. Well, I'm tired of doing yard work. I've been doing yard work for like a month now and I needed a break from that. But I decided to get my space more organized, clean up, put stuff away, throw more stuff out. And it already looks nice. And I'm going to set some time aside to do another room that's gotten really cluttered. And it just soothes me. Plus the clutter also tends to make me not delight in my here and now. So that is a recognition, like that's an awareness. Like what helps me delight in my here and now is organizational space, less clutter, clean, refreshing. And I feel refreshed. I feel like I've cleaned up a little bit. And then I can sit and then further delight with myself and figure out, okay, what else can I work on within myself in this moment in time? And that's like a start. That's a consideration. And if anybody has anything else they want to add, please do so.
Yeah. I think, well, everything starts with you, and balance does work if you're understanding what do you need to balance. And I think sometimes to delight in the here and now, you got to shut things down. You got to either stop reading, you got to stop watching
Correct.
those webinars and get off a Clubhouse and turn the podcast off and just sit with yourself. Delight in the sounds that you are listening, in the vibrations of your heartbeat. That's when you unite. That's when you can delight in the here and now, is listening to the sound of your breathing and allowing your spirit to dance to the beat of your heart, because that is yours and that is something that you can always come to at any hour of the day, because it is you. When you can delight in the humming of your breath work, and when you can feel your energy sway back and forth to the beat of your heart, then you know there's nothing, absolutely nothing outside of you that you could not handle. There should be nothing that overwhelms you to the brink of wanting to be the three monkeys. Because when you seek that, what delight do you have in life? You know,
No, yeah, it's an avoidance. It's
it,
only momentarily.
and when you know what, when you can't deal with what's going on in the outside world, that's because you don't know who the hell you are. Because everything within should build that that strength, that anything that's hurled at you from the outside, you're either gonna dodge it, you're gonna step aside from it, or you're gonna catch that bitch.
Or you do, and this is what we do a lot.
We walk around with blinders, and
Yeah,
then we want to blame the government after we have given up our rights to defend ourselves. We the
yeah.
people. Delight in the here and now that we still have a constitution where we can read out and say we the people, because that's how it starts, you know. And this conversation can go 50 million ways, but let me tell you something. Delighting in the here and now is, the other day I'm saying, how can I get involved in and we're just going to say it, the Roe versus Wade, right? And I believe I said it to the badass yesterday, how it brought me back to my days of when I used to protest, when protesting in New York City for all the stuff, almost getting arrested twice during it, taking my kids with me to certain protests. And you know what? That for me was being alive in every sense of my being. Yes, it was dangerous, and some of them were more so than not. But it's just including myself in the issues of what was going on, especially women issues. But what was going on for my people, my Puerto Rican people back then. And and then I don't know, for some reason I stopped that. I think it probably was when I moved to Florida in 2001. Florida's to blame for everything. But you know,
That's
and
funny.
yesterday I'm sitting there and I'm
Florida's
signing up
fault.
for all these things because you know what? They wanna make something illegal that should never be even a point of conversation with pompous asses, you know, with penises that probably they probably need Viagra for, but they want to make something that we choose from our bodies illegal. Well, then how about you make it illegal for the daddies to leave the pregnant mamas? You know, let's how about we work with delighting in the now, knowing that there's equality for us women, the power of pussy, the breeders of life. No, that's what we delight in, knowing that we did the best we could at the moment for what we were able to, and stop walking around in blinders, especially if you are parents of daughters and granddaughters. So delight in the moment and knowing that you gave everything you possibly could, or that you're having these uncomfortable conversations with your daughters and granddaughters and teaching them how to overcome certain uh, prejudices towards us. Why are they like, why? So I think delighting in the here and now is waking up and doing the best you could in those 12 hours that you are awake, and going to sleep knowing you did everything possible that was in that time limit for today, whether it was self-care, whether it was nurturing your children, your grandchildren, taking care of your parents, whatever it was. You delight in the here and now by saying, I did the best I could today, and I participated in the lives of those I loved and in those that matter. That's how I look at delighting in the here and now.
There we go, Bridget. Yep. Learn to protect your peace. That is the key,
Hmm.
because your peace is your spirit. It's you're protecting that. Disconnect from the news, work, leave work at work, avoid negative conversations, protect your peace of mind. Yes.
Right.
And with that, when you, so sometimes it's a little hard to disconnect.
Thank
So the way
you.
you do it is you find little things that you can replace it with. So make a list of that. Like for instance, like think about things that can shift you. So like So like let's say you are leaving work, but you're driving home from work and you're really annoyed because something happened at work and you're trying to leave it, right? Because we're human. We tend to have this beautiful, very technical brain, but we can't seem to let go of stuff. So it's not like other animals that have less of a brain. They've already forgotten it. It's
But
been
I know
forgotten.
people who can do that.
Yeah, no, I know people that can do that too, but
I love
vast
and hate
majority.
them. I love and hate them.
Um, I know exactly. So, but make a list of the things that bring you joy so that when you're in these moments and you're like, okay, I don't think I can get out of this. Like, I don't think I can do this. Then put that in there and say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this. Even make a list of the things that frustrate you. The maybe in the current situation, like whatever today, make a list of the things that do stress you. And then say, okay, I need to take a break from these. I don't want to turn this on today. I'm going to listen to really nice music today. Like I did yesterday. I was cleaning and I felt good about cleaning the space, you know. Um, I have beautiful gardens that in my yard, that flower gardens. I have a vegetable garden too. But I sometimes just like looking out the window and looking at it. So I set up I set up a nice little area so that I can sit in a very specific spot to be able to look at all of the gardens, because I have one in front, in the back, and then two on the sides. Um, Yesterday I was looking out the window in the last couple of days, and there's little baby bunnies that have been
Yeah.
born, and they're so cute, and they're just running all over the place, and then they get scared and they run into the bushes and then they come back out. And so I paused, I took that moment to say, oh my God, look at how cute they are. Like just, and delighting in the here and now. It doesn't always solve everything. It doesn't always take everything away, but at least in that moment, you say to yourself, oh my God, this is just so beautiful. This is so cute. I am an outdoor person. I love the outdoors. I love looking outside. I love being outside. I love dirt. I love grass. I love rocks. I love flowers. I love animals. So those delight me. They're not for everybody, but that's for me. And so that's a way for me to shift my energy by just
Absolutely.
sitting outside. I even like sweating. Like I like going outside and just getting hot and sweating. I feel like,
Detoxing your body.
yes, that's what I feel. So that to me helps ground me and helps me delight in the here and now when I feel so overwhelmed. Because when we're overwhelmed, we don't make great choices. We tend to hold on and listen to the things we that are stressing us. We tend to do the things that are stressing us. We tend to ruminate on things. So like even Bridget Williams is saying deep breathing and meditation. Yes, when we can quiet our minds enough. So if you can't, focus on something that can distract you long enough to the beauty that you love. Like if you like getting your nails done, and mani pedi, and you haven't in a little while, then just make the appointment. See if they have a walk-in available just to get it done. If it makes you happy to just go shopping, like just walk through the store, not even necessarily buy anything, then stop. Do take a lunch break and allow yourself that space. But if you have your go-to list on what can allow you to delight in the here and now, you always have something to go to shift yourself.
Yes. I think that it all starts with you, it ends with you. It begins with you, it ends with you. You are the whole package deal. So
Yes.
we can't blame it on the news. We can't blame it on somebody triggering us. But the bottom line, it always begins and ends with the choices you make for your day. Things can bother us, things can trigger us, but who is responsible for allowing it to go out of whack? We are. I think we've listened to enough podcasts. We've watched enough Viva Cafe con Leche. We've been on webinars and Clubhouse to know that we are in control of how our day spins out. People can trigger you. Remember, there will be something that will trigger you. It might offset you for that moment, but we need to do that deep breath and think of something and remind ourselves who the hell we are.
Yes.
We, um, people say people, places, things will affect you. Yes, absolutely. But it is your responsibility whether you're gonna when you're just gonna wave as you keep going, or you're gonna invite them in to stay. If you choose to sit your ass on the couch with it, again, it is your choice. I love when we are capable of acknowledging, like the badass said, we have to be aware of what's going on in our now. And you know what? The badass Buddha sets it in a beautiful tone. And then I say it my way. But the reality is, even when she and I speak, this is how we are with one another. Her gardens are very beautiful. To sit by her window and look out it and look at the gardens, that is a way. Marina has a beautiful flower garden where all the butterfly comes to sit. And she
Mm.
posts a lot of her pictures. And I've been to her house and it's very, very peaceful. So, you know, like Ruthie says, that's her sign to go to Target for a walk. She is aware whether she buys something or not, whether she's just going to walk by when she first goes in and gets a whiff of Starbucks. And she's going to go through whatever the bathing seasons. And if you go in a complete square circle, that always works well for you. Your way is not my way. My way is not your way. So what we want to say, find what it is that delights you. You might find it is just sitting in the middle of your living room floor on that rug that you bought, but you never have time to really enjoy it. It's the simplest things in life that bring you peace. And to protect your peace, you have to be aware of what is your peace. You have to be aware of
Yeah,
what it is that doesn't
that is the truth.
allow it to shine through. You have to be aware of who the hell you are. Are you that goddess in awe of herself, willing to say, no, that's not for me? Not today, boo.
Yep.
Are you willing to to be that gatekeeper and that host? The gatekeepers are there. No, we're not taking visitors today, which means you're sitting with yourself, you're meditating. You're doing the breath work that's necessary for whatever's that trigger or that occurred, or that self-doubt seeping in because maybe the balance on that seesaw was off a little bit. Whatever the hell it is. I don't know. People always think that I'm happy that I got it all together because I'm a traveling magician. You don't know my story. So I have to do the work. And it's either I'm gonna bitch to people I trust, or it's gonna say, you know what, this bothered me today. And in saying that, it was like, oh, the light bulb went on. Oh, okay. I think I know what I have to do. That's allowing yourself to trust yourself. And instead of always speaking it out to people, you know what? Speak it out to yourself, because when you're delighting in your here and now, when yesterday when she's like, oh, I just feel terrible. Oh, and she voiced out, let me organize my bedroom. She immediately started feeling good, where it gave her the energy to move her ass and actually do it. And she even said, oh, I feel so much better today because I cleared up a lot of shit in my bedroom. So right there, just in her saying that, it made my spirit smile, because it's always the little things that we overlook and then we have big complaints. Find
Yeah.
what it is you delight in. And yeah, breathing, do deep breathing and meditation. That's listening to the sound of your breath, and in coming into tune with your heartbeat. You know that thing that keeps the blood pumping and has you walking around alive? Yeah, that. Pay attention to that music, because it's always playing for you. It's a nonstop music box that we like tucked in the back of the closet and have loads of clothes that we might fit into if we stick to our diet. That type of shit. Bring that music box out, set it somewhere that you can delight in it every day. So listen to that sound. When you're sitting there meditating, let the background music be heard from within. Listen to that heartbeat. Yeah, it starts with the clearance. Girl, I don't go into any store. I hit the clearance first. Even Michael's. Before I pay anything full price, let me go check out the clearance racks. It's the best solution. But yeah, so That's my take. And thank you, Petey. I'm so happy that you were sick and you cleared out your room. So I think I think when you focus on the here and now, because let me let you in on a secret in case you forgot or weren't aware of it. But that's all we got. We don't have yesterday. We only have the memories of it, whether good or bad. That's all we have of yesterday. All we have is the here and now. Why the fuck are we wasting it complaining or comparing it to other people's lives? You might look good, you may have it all, but what you have is not what I need to have.
That's correct.
Sometimes because we don't know ourselves.
That's
We
right.
don't
That's
like what it is we do have. We don't have a clear view of our visions. Then we compare our lives and then belittle ourselves. So how are you going to delight in your here and now if you're too busy bullying yourself because it doesn't match up with the women's on social media, or your longtime high school friend that lived across the tracks from you in a trailer and today she's making six figures? You can't compare yourself to her or anything else, because how are you going to delight in your here and now? It's about knowing yourself enough to not like certain parts of yourself. And please take the blinders off when you're dealing with yourself. Delighting in, damn, I've come a long way, but damn, I forgot I got to really work on that because it came up out of nowhere. I forgot about it. That's because you're not tending to your garden. Get the hell off out of the neighbor's lawn already. Fertilize your rose bushes. Have those that gardenia plant flourish every summer and place that beautiful smell around your yard. The grass may look greener on the other side, but that's not your side. And if we focus on what it is we have and we nurture and care for it and cater to it, the rewards are endless for ourselves. That's how you delight in your here and now. You figure out what's your problem, because we all got them. Figure out what the fuck you got to fix in you. And if there's really not big issues you got to fix in you, but you're still, check your boundaries. Just realize that you are the best person in this world for you. And for the women who have fallen in love, I've been in love a lot because it's one of my favorite things. I'm in love with love. I'm a hopeless romantic. I'll love anybody. That's why I try to stay away from anybody. So that's my trigger, right? Woo.
I like what Iritza wrote. I feel like I was on the go nonstop since before Spain. And God said, Iris, you need to sit, rest, and have time to listen to yourself again. Yes, organize your room. Yeah, when we sit still long enough,
Chanel,
we always we get a lot more clarity when we sit still and shut the hell up.
mm-hmm.
We have to sometimes do it a lot more than we really want to. Like you might be like, all right, I sat down today and I didn't talk to anybody and I did my thing and now it's time. But it's like your world knows when it's time, and that's when you have to stop. Like the message that's been coming through to me has been really to shut up a lot more and listen, which is really not easy for me to do. Not because I like to talk. Sometimes I do, but I have a job that requires me to talk a lot. I mean, I'm on Clubhouse at least 3 times a week speaking and teaching. And then this twice a week. And so how does one stay quiet and let information flow in? I have to find it in the downtime, but I also have clients and then I have trainings and all this stuff, So I had to actually cancel some things or rearrange some things. And when I am home, I don't really speak that much, because there's information that's flowing in and it's a little overwhelming. When Gladiator Guru was talking about like triggers and things like that, delighting in the here and now. But when information does come in, especially stuff that you really don't, that's insulting or you don't want to hear, like I had a couple of things yesterday that came through that were quite insulting to me, very disrespectful. Gladiator Guru knows what I'm talking about. And I had to process that, I had to sit there with it rather than come back and have an immediate response. I have learned over the last probably 4 weeks, especially, it's been very loud and clear to me to wait before I respond, because and that helps me delight in my here and now, because it again, it's about that awareness. It's about understanding that I could react to certain things immediately and then create a chain reaction that could go down in a direction that's going to just make things less delightful. And so I balance, and I'm constantly having to check myself on this balance between ignoring it because that's the right thing to do, as opposed to ignoring it because I don't want to deal with it, or dealing with it and moving forward, sitting on it, then dealing with it, and then distracting myself, not to distract to avoid, but to distract to reset. So if you're feeling a sort of way when you're saying, well, it's really hard to delight in the here and now because my life is just crazy and all these things are happening and I'm really worried, blah, blah, blah. We're with you on this. This is
Mm-hmm.
not like Gladiator Guru and I, like I said, we talk a lot. We have been up and down with a lot of stuff that's been going on within our own little worlds, within our businesses, within our personal lives, and within our global community. And so it's a lot, and so we're aware of this fact. So it also helps to have that individual too that you
Yeah.
can speak to be able to throw that off. And it's got to be somebody that is in alignment with your beliefs, because it'll only make you more stressed, and you definitely won't delight in the here and now if you're speaking to somebody that is opposite of you, because then you're going to start arguing and then blah blah blah. And even though she and I say things differently, sometimes do things differently, she and I are definitely soul sisters because we are very in alignment. We're very aligned with our beliefs, and that means so much to me, because I know I have somebody that I can reach out to. There's some days where she'll coddle me and she'll hear me and she'll just listen and she'll be nurturing. There's some days where she just like is tough with me. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
other days where we're both like arguing, not arguing with each other, but arguing because we're both so frustrated about the same thing. But then we work it through and it always feels better, And so that's another piece in delighting in the here and now, is about your tribe. It's about connections. It's aligning with people who, they don't have to agree with everything in the way you do things, but at least your values, so that you can say, I really need to vent about this and I just want to let it go. And they're there for you too when you don't reach out. See, these are the
Mm-hmm.
people that also read it and they hadn't heard from you all day. And then they send a text saying, you okay? Because normally, like, I hear something from you. I just want to check in on you. And those are the beautiful people, because they sense that you're not delighting in the here and now. They sense that you're going through something. And they send that out to you. And then that's when you have to stop and receive it and delight in the here and now by saying, I'm so grateful that they felt that, because I was feeling some sort of way, and it's so nice that they're reaching out. Doesn't mean you have to have a conversation about it. Just the fact that they reached out, and then acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you said something earlier about boundaries and how you are, but be aware of who you are, because make sure that your moral compass is really speaking your character and who you really are before you set out, like having a vision board of what you want to be, but you're not there. That inner work is hard work.
Yes, it
For you
is.
to delight in any here and now, you got to keep it real with yourself. You have to know what your flaws are, because knowing what your flaws are, you will realize why you're easily triggered by other people. Your triggers, because of you not dealing with who you are, you're triggered off by something I said or something I wore, is really not my issue. You know, you have to really be aware of who you are and be responsible for what you allow to trigger you, because my presence and me being my authentic self triggers you in any way, that's a shortcoming that you need to work on you. And I
Yeah.
say this with love, but enough with blaming people, places, and things if you are totally not aware of who the hell you are. I'm not here to make you feel good. Listen, I was told about this TED Talk yesterday and I watched it, and I can't even paraphrase because I got to rewatch it again, but blew me out to the nosebleed section. It was so fucking phenomenal that it gave me so much encouragement to send in my article for me to do a TED Talk. And it was called the Fucks Bucket.
What was it called?
The Fucks Bucket.
The
You
fucks
know,
bucket. In the TED Talk, they
my
swore.
time, my presence, and whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. When people are too busy trying to please, you lose who you are. And remember, mi gente, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, hey, Margie, do you want to do this? Well, no, but why? But why? Because I said so. That's always been my line since my kids were little. So when that movie came out, it became my favorite because I said so. And now I'm even shorter. No. And then they're like, oh, yeah, walk away. I already get this conversation's over. You asked me something. I said no, period. Adios. Sayonara. Goodbye. You know,
it's called the fuck it bucket.
Yeah, so the fucks bucket.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Budget. I'm sorry, the fuck budget. And it's the magic of not giving a fuck. And it might sound, kind of harsh on some of your ears, but again, it's reality. Look at the uncertainty of this world. And you got to say what takes priority. If you are constantly trying to people please because you don't want this person upsetting you because they're not going to understand where you're coming from, then who are you? You're a shell of a human. And I say this with love. Learn who the hell you are so that you can delight in the simplicities of life. Having that tea, enjoying that cafe con leche in the morning, sitting out in your garden and not worrying that there's bees coming around. Leave them alone. They'll leave you the hell alone. Putting your feet in the pool, not getting in all the way, but letting your toes dance between the coolness of that pool water. Delight in your here and now because you have created something that no matter what storm comes your way, you're going to either know to go indoors, carry an umbrella with you, or dance in between the raindrops. It's all a choice that you got to choose because your delight is what you make of your life, how you are living your life. And if some of us feels like we can't do that, then we have more inner work to do. Clean out the shit and see the beauty because we all have it. We've all taken stuff out. We probably have layers upon layers of other people's stuff that we have taken upon ourselves, or the assumptions and expectations of how someone might react to our choice. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want this because I just did this. Whatever the case may be, you have to delight in your here and now. Because remember, for every beginning, there's an end. So it's what's in between that matters in your lifetime. Are you tired of living in that kind of way? Introduce yourself to yourself. Learn to understand her, the woman that you let or everybody else's bullshit pile upon, and she's at the bottom of the pile. Like, hello, can somebody get me out of here? That's what you got to delight in, learning who the hell you are so you could know how to stand up for you. I learned long time ago how to stand up for me and my 4 personalities, but one of them don't need any standing up for. And I'm so proud of them because they've been a part of my life in my darkest hours. I talk about them as though they're like my cousins or like my bestie that no one else can see. You know why? Because they came at a time, the darkest part of a 6-year-old's life, and they've stayed. And you know what? That's my what is it? Fuck budget. I thought it was fuck bucket list. Has always been very much there, but we tend to be with, especially as Puerto Ricans, ay bendito, let me help them. because I have an extra hour that then turns into 3 days or a year.
Yeah.
And those unwarranted assignments, and I'm like, God, and he's like, I didn't send you there. You couldn't say no. So figure it out. So judge me when you're perfect. Yeah, I'd be like, I
I
don't.
love
You're
that.
right,
I
Bridget.
love that, Bridget.
But it's
Yes.
like even when people like say, "Oh, this," what? At least their brain is turning. Let them think what they want. Let's give them something to talk about.
You know what I was thinking would be very fun to do? I think it would be very fun to one day see what you all think about this, to have a uh just call it a bitch session. And we
Mm-hmm.
all allow ourselves the space to just bitch about whatever it is that we want to bitch about. And then at the end, we just let it go. Because the part of the delighting in the here and now and being aware and knowing self, you have to allow yourself space to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can't hold that shit in. It doesn't, that will only suppress it. And then it's going to come out, boom, and you're not going to be delightful. And nobody around you is going to be delightful either. You have to give yourself that space to let that stuff go, to acknowledge that this was not fair to you, that this was not right, that this was insulting, that you made a mistake and you feel stupid about it. Like all these things. And then let it go so
Yeah.
that you
You
can delight
acknowledge.
yourself.
You acknowledge everything she said. You accept it because it already happened. So either you keep neglecting that fact or you accept it. So acknowledge that it happened, that it hurt. Accept that you played a role in it, whether you were submissive or it was an impulsive choice, right? So acknowledge, accept, feel it. Allow yourself to re-feel it, or maybe for the first time because you just let it happen and then you ignored it. So acknowledge, accept, feel it. Then release it. And then celebrate your courage for acknowledging, accepting it, feeling it, and releasing it. It always goes back to you.
Yes, I agree. All
And
right.
Iris Good it loves standing up for herself. Good.
Well,
And
so here we go. Are we done, or you have one more thing to
yeah,
add?
no, we're done. Just delight in your here and now. We're delighting because you guys showed up today.
Yes.
We're always grateful of the people who come on this show that take time out of their day, not only to sign on, well, Viva's on, but to say hello and then share their thoughts. Because I know we're all busy, we all have schedules. So thank you. We thank you. We're always grateful and delighted every Tuesday and Thursday when you show up. So you are appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. And so Thursday we'll be with our special guest, Liza Tuck. Liza will be back, and we're going to be talking about vision boards. So again, even if you don't have a vision board, it's never too late to create a plan for yourself. Set some goals. If you don't want to call them goals, call them whatever you want, but set an intention, anything. But to
Mhm.
create something, a roadmap for yourself for the remainder of the year. We still have 6 months left. 6 months is 6 months. You can still get a lot done. Or if you already did do your vision board and you just want to check in, then this is the time to check in. I mean, I have mine sitting right in front of me. It's not a vision board per se, but it technically is. It's just not done in the typical vision board. But I'm going to see how much I've been hitting these things and hold myself accountable. So it'll be an interesting conversation on Thursday. So we'll see you all Thursday. And from me, the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember me, gente, several times a day, learn how to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste.